It is Lord here, where I am streaming some game creation, but this time I'm streaming a different game. I just clicked on global lights, and I just noticed it down here. It has nothing to do with anything. I just noticed it while I was talking there. Anyways, I'm streaming a different game creation that I started like a week ago. I recently streamed on my other channel, I don't know, a month ago or something, Path of Achra, and I really like that game. I think everyone should check that game out. It's dirt cheap too. It's just like a quick turn-based game. You can hit like tab, and your character just moves for you. It's like everything's automated. All you do is you pick like your abilities and stuff, and I really like that game, and I didn't think I'd like it that much, but I like really liked it. But one of the characters in that game is a summoner, and you can summon monsters, and I was thinking, but I was like, man, I really wish I could in that game I could summon like hundreds and hundreds of monsters. And so then I was like, I wonder if I could make a game where you summon like hundreds of demons. So that's what I'm doing is I created this hex based game where you summon hundreds of demons. And I'm in the very infancy. This is not a tutorial, by the way. I don't do tutorials. So right now, this is all I have. Is I got the hex generation. If you spawn your hero, this is all temporary graphics. If you spawn your hero, and then you can spawn an enemy, which I just grabbed this from this free thing. Then you can look in the console and you can see the path that it's found to the enemy. To the player. From the enemy to the player, you'll be moving the player with the keyboard. And this is the path it's taking by the grid here. If we open this up and make this a little bigger, it actually says what grid is which. So like, if we go back to, if we make this less large here, I'm zoomed way out here. I was looking at something before we started. So we can follow the path. So he's at 1-1 to start with. That's this one right here. So that's the hex he's on. Then we can go to the next hex to see where he goes here. 2-2. So he's going to move to there. And then he's going to move to 2-3. And then he's going to move to 3-4. And then he's going to move to 4-4. There's a very straight line here. Oh, that's off of his straight line. Then he's going to move to 4-5. And then he's going to move to 5-6. And then he's going to move to 6-6. And he's still going here. 6-7. And then finally 7-7-7. And finally 8-8 is his last move, which is where this guy is. So that is the pathfinding. But that's all. This is all I've done so far. And this was way harder than I thought it would be. I thought with my experience with my other game that I am streaming on the other game I'm streaming every part of coding. This I'm not doing that, and this is closed source. My other one's open source, and I'm still working on the other one. I just wanted to take a break from it today, and I'll stream the other one probably tomorrow again and go back to working on that as well, and then just do this on my free time. But the thing that's interesting about doing a completely different game that has different components and things like, creating a grid, is that I'm learning, totally learning new things and seeing how I'm doing stuff wrong in the other game. I also just did this for fun. So this controls the grid size. I'm just going to make this 100 by 100. I did this a second ago and I was like, oh shit. But it works. It's just a giant grid. It's not that exciting, except it's a giant grid and my camera can't even become that big. I have it set so the camera tries to be in the center or cover the center of it, because it starts in the position as 0, 0, 0. So I did a ton of tutorials on how to do grids, and the issue I had with them is that they were all not very good. They were all too complicated and too convoluted, and I'm just going to go through like the process of what I did real quick, and then we'll actually get to programming. So I originally started, I looked up how to do a grid, and they showed me how to do it as a tile map. And this tutorial was pretty good, and I made a tile map grid. And then every other tutorial I found after that generated. So if we go back to here, well, let's change this back to 10 by 10. 10 by 10 is enough right now for us for our testing. We don't need a gigantic grid like that. We might do something big in the long run. I want to have like different shapes and have like, you know, castle walls and things like that. So after I made the tile map grid, every other tutorial had me creating a game object for each hex. So that made my tile map useless. And so then I had to relearn how to do that. And I actually used the Code Monkey, mini Code Monkey tutorials to figure that out, but his were way too complicated and way too convoluted. Like, he was throwing all sorts of shit that didn't matter in there, and I really started getting frustrated with, like, why is he teaching us this stuff when it doesn't matter? And I've tried to use his tutorials in the past, and I think he like knows what he's talking about. Like, I think he's very knowledgeable about the subject. I could be wrong. Who the fuck knows? What do I know? But I found his tutorials to be very hard to follow, and he has all this extra code. So basically what I did is I just started going through and paring down his code, and I think like, this is all stuff that I've commented out that I could probably just delete from his code because it wasn't needed and it didn't make any sense to me. But during that process, I like learned a lot. So I like totally mostly understand how the grid is created. The grid very much so, and how to find the neighbors of the hexes. So for the pathfind, you had to find neighbors. So anyways, after I got the grid to generate, I was pretty excited about that. I then wanted to have an outside to the grid, and that was a little bit harder. But that's when I was like, there's got to be. So I kept Googling and finding all this. There's a lot of people who talk about how to make a hex grid, and there's different types of hex grids. And so, for example, this is a pointy top one, because that's the pointy top, and then there's the flat top one. I wanted a pointy top one because I want the characters to be moving left and right, not up and down. And so if most of the time, if you're moving left and right, it's a straight line, versus if I did the other one, it would have been like, you would have had to go like bloop, 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 and I didn't like that. So I wanted it to be this pointy top style, because most people have widescreen monitors, and I want them to be able to use that real estate when they're moving. You know, we'll make it bigger than the whole monitor in the long run if we maximize this. Let's see. Because the camera is right here. You know, this will go off the edge, and we'll be able to move, and we'll have the camera move with the player and stuff. But that's way down the road. But I wanted it east west, left right, because of that reason, so that they can move in a straight line if their enemy is here and they are here. And I'm trying to remember, and if anyone knows, tell me. In film, if there's a character that's moving from left or from right to left versus left to right, it means that they're going towards adversity, and I can't remember which one it is. So whatever one I figure out is the way. I want it to look them to move in that direction. Right now, they're going to move from right to left towards the enemy. So we'll have the player here, and we'll move this way, and that way they can move in a straight line. Like I said, most likely they won't. You know, they'll move around obstacles and things. So anyways, after doing all these tutorials and like literally following around and typing, I decided to ask ChatGPT for help. And I've used ChatGPT in the past, but this time I went like hardcore into asking for help. And this pathfinding script is pretty much completely written by ChatGPT, and it works. It took a long time, and it took me like, so see how it's like vector 2 int. For a while it was like putting, some of it was vector 2, some of it was vector 2 int, and it was causing issues. And so I had to like basically argue with it and say like, no, only use vector 2 int, or only use vector 2. I had to go through a lot of stuff with it, but in reality, it's made it incredibly easy, and it also explained a lot of stuff. And like, so this I had never thought of doing, like where you put like this hex thing, you know, like where you put, so hex is, you know, a mono behavior that I have, where you assign the hex this way. Like, I never thought of doing it that way in my other things. So my other things, my knowledge, so basically I've learned like a ton, and it's because of ChatGPT. And I don't fully understand how this works, which is a huge bummer. not when I say fully understand, I barely understand how this works, which is a bummer because I can't like uh, debug it. So that's a problem. But I have learned other things. So there is a. So back to the conversation we've been having about AI. I think that AI is going to help programmers. You wouldn't be able to do this with no experience because you'd be baffled all the time. And I was baffled, 75% of the time. But you wouldn't know how to, which questions to ask and whatnot. I don't think. But I think that the AI helping programmers is definitely going to be a thing, and programmers should probably start being worried. And we are going to need universal basic income in the United States, well, in the whole world, but it's definitely going to happen. I was having this conversation with friends about UBI, and I feel like, in my opinion, I think we'll have to get to the complete destruction, like Dust Bowl times, Great Depression, before that will happen. But some of my friends are thinking that as it goes down, they'll create a tax to cover all these people who get laid off, because it's going to be a fucking decimation. The other thing I'm also using is GitHub Copilot, and I've been using this for a while, but I only had the free sign up for it, and it just ran out yesterday. And without it, I was shocked how much I was like, fuck, this doesn't do this anymore. So I actually let it renew. So I'm actually paying the $10 a month for this shit now, which is, I was surprised I became so used to it filling out. So it often will fill out stuff. Then the other thing that was really weird is when I was doing this grid creator script, which this I wrote all myself pretty much, well, to a point. So when I would type in like if, it would put in this whole thing, GitHub Copilot would fill in like this stuff. And it was exactly identical to CodeMonkey's tutorial. So I know that they taught GitHub Copilot from CodeMonkey's tutorial. Identical. Like the comments were all identical. Everything was identical. I was like, holy fuck. They should be paying that poor dude. Because they definitely learned. It didn't know I was watching a YouTube video, but it was filling out this stuff. And I've changed this one a bunch. Like this one I mostly understand, like I said. So it's interesting to not really understand all of the code. Like my other game, I wrote all the code. It's shitty code, but I wrote it. Anyways, so I think that we're pretty much where we are at. I did have to argue with the pathfinding a lot with the AI about some issues it was having where it wasn't the best. It wasn't getting there. It would like go along this way and then cut up and then go over. And I was like, no, we wanted to go the fastest way. And so I kept having to say like start over, and because it would get confused. That was the other thing that was really weird about ChatGPT is it would get confused. I would say don't ever use Vector 3. And then it'd be like, sure, no problem. And it would do that for a while. Then all of a sudden it would start using Vector 3 again. And that was the other issue I had with the tutorials. And tons of the tutorials want you to be using Vector 3. And I'm not doing Vector 3. And so don't make this. So you can turn the, in Unity, you can turn this off. But I'm not using Vector 3. So why would we be using Vector 3? You know what I mean? It's just extra shit that I don't feel was necessary. So this is what we got. Oh, the other thing that works is if you click on a hex, it will tell you its neighbors. So this one, I left clicked on this and then it will tell me these neighbors. So I think the next thing we want to do is, and I don't have a project or anything in GitHub set up for this. I mean, I have a project where I upload stuff, but I don't have a project of where I'm keeping track of things like in my other one. Like I said, this is also closed source. Let me make sure I'm actually streaming. That's one of my fears these days is that I stream and I'm not actually streaming. Because it happened once. It just has to happen once, for you to be shell shocked. Okay. So I think that's what I want to do. And one of the things I was thinking about right before I started streaming was, so if we look at I think it's in create grid. Where was I stashing that shit? Get hit hex at grid position. Does this even work? So this is just goes through the whole list of hexes. That's so this is what I was trying to think. Currently, we have this hex mono behavior that's connected to each hex, and it's currently they're all is accessible is true. I haven't tested if this will work as false. This is some chat GPT shit. And then each hex has its list of its neighbors. And then it has an identifier that's a vector2 int. So that means it's identified through this array right here. That's what it's talking about, is this hex array, which I actually don't like that name. So that needs 2 numbers. That's a vector2 int, 2 ints. And so like I learned all about vector ints while I did this, which is something I didn't know anything about. So what I was thinking is we could store each hex, we could store its actual position. So when I say actual position, if like this one, its position on the map, it's not 1 0 in its position. Its position is 10 0. So if we click on this guy, we're right here. This is 10 0 as its position. So I was thinking maybe we should store that with the hex, because otherwise we have to do some math every time. And the problem I'm having with the math is I don't know how to do it. It isn't that hard, because we're obviously doing it somewhere. We're doing the math somewhere, right? So this math goes the other direction. It is if we give it a thing, which I guess is all we need. So get world position, and this is from CodeMonkey actually. This is a CodeMonkey thing. This is the math that I'm. Oh, see, this has a vector3 motherfucker in there. See, I wasn't even able to get them all out. I wonder if I put a vector2 in here, what happens? Will it implode? Let's run it and see what happens. I don't want any vector3 in my game. It's a 2D game. Vector3 has the third, so vector2 has, this, and vector3 has the third one. And we don't need the third one. I hope that made sense. I forgot to hit play here. The one bummer with this is the game has to be playing to test it. Like in the other one, you could see it. I guess that works. Yeah, I don't like it. Like I don't know what this means. I could ask. I could Google. So we don't actually need that. We don't. So okay. So we have move token here. And I just have this set up like as like a cheapo way to do this, is that when I enable this, it does stuff. We're gonna want to put a button in that changes that. So like it would break if I do that. So I have to have the player enabled first. If I enable this thing, now it does stuff. So it's kind of like some kind of cheap ass button, but we'll probably want to put in a new button. See, I have it on enable. And this is the start and the goal. And then this finds the path. And this actually will bug out if it can't find a path. So let's put this here. And because there's no path at that point, if it can't find the path, it says it gets a bug because there's no path. So let's put that there. But let me think about this. So we want to move the token at this point. Is that what we decided we're doing next? But I think is that what we're going to do? I think it is. So is that what I want to do? Yeah, I guess that is what we want to do. So I have this as move token. So let's do this. Let's call this private void move token. I don't think I can call it that though, because that's what that's called. Move. We'll just do move. And I'm going to actually make this a button, so we'll just call it move token button. See all this garbage that keeps appearing? That is GitHub's thing. And see, what is it suggesting? Look, these are all commented out as what it's suggesting. That's not what we want. We want move towards, and I can't remember how move towards looks, so I have to look that up real quick. Let me put this over here. Let me make sure that I'm capturing the right shit. Yes. I use move towards a bunch and in my other game, but we struggled with it. When I say we, I mean me, but oh, how am I going to change that? I was just thinking about how am I going to... Well, we'll figure that out. I just want to see... I don't need this crap. I just need this. This is what I need. This is not going to work. So we want the start location. We'll have a new variable here, actually. Now we'll do currents. Yeah, that will work. This is this attached? Where the fuck is this thing? I can't remember where I put this. I had to put, I noticed there's a new setting, in whatchamacallit. Do we want to have this move first, or do we want to put in inaccessible stuff? Or do we want to try that out? Let's do the move, I guess. It'll be more interesting, and it's something we got to do. What the fuck am I doing? We got to look at the enemy prefab here. All right, like half this stuff is half-assedly done. Then current location. Well, this we don't have to use a var. We know what this is. This is... I guess we could just use a var out of laziness. I don't know. We want target is going to be, and this is where it's going to get a little tricky. It's not going to be that. It's going to be, and then the step, we'll put a step. What the fuck is this? Then we'll put a step as a global thing here. I think step is how fast it goes. It's not really how fast it goes. I found this out the other day. With move towards, it doesn't. The speed doesn't really matter. Whoops. I wanted to... All right, that's what I wanted. Okay, and I guess we'll do time, delta time. So the other thing that I wanted, so Path of Achra, I think I mentioned this, is really fast, and so I want each move to be really fast. So at the beginning, I don't think that this is going to work how we want it. I think it's going to be too slow. And if you had like 100 things on the screen that are being controlled by the computer, it's going to be very slow. So we're gonna I think we want fixed delta time. In the target, though, is going to be, we have this path. Oh, the problem is this path is just... Private list path. And then this, whoops. That way, I think we can use this path down here. And the path is going to be a vector 2 ints at this point. Yeah, it's a vector 2 ints is what this is returning. No, this is returning a list of vector 2 ints. So that's not going to work. So we have to use that grid creator instance get, what was it called? Get, what the fuck was it called? We were just looking at it. Get world position. And then we got to convert path. Oh, it's right. It has it right. See, like that saves so much time, except we want the first thing in the path. We don't want it. We don't want it. And I'm going to put this on here. We're just going to do something here. All right, so I think what should happen. We don't need this. I think what it should happen is it should move one step towards the destination. Maybe. I don't know. I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. That's why I stream this shit. Is I hope that it, like other people see it and are inspired by my fucking ignorance. So I think if I turn this on, it should move one. Okay, it did not. Probably because it doesn't know. We didn't get a bug though. Oh, we don't want that thing here. This thing is, we'll just leave this count off. I was trying to, oh, we could put it right here. Whoops. I just wanted to know, like, it's easier to tell, like, if it's way too long, you know, and sometimes I just count and I'll be like, okay, it takes me 10 to get there. And then if it counts 15, we know it's wrong. We should probably put, so that we have that. I think we need to tell it what we're moving. Yeah, we do. I left out an important part. I think because this is attached to the game object, it should be fine. We'll see here. This might be a total clusterfuck. I have so many issues with move towards and um, lerp and what was the other one? Slurp. It's something. We don't get a bug. So I went up to version 2023.1. Get a lot of bugs, man. A lot of bugs. Invalid value. Visual Studio installation. What the fuck? Let's clear these. I don't think I have this is, we need to get what we're moving, I'm pretty sure. So let's put, we could put it here temporarily. I guess it doesn't matter. Uh, is this going to work? Let's put this target. That's what we want. And so here's an example of something that I never did before. Um, is I never put, I always used var, but in reality, this is, this, see, that should be okay. To put transform, I never can remember this shit. Transform. Oh, I have the wrong. I have target, not token. Oh, that one's, so that should be this. I don't need this. Anyways, I never did this. I always use var, and like it like taught me to like use when I can use the correct variables, because then it also helps later. Because it will tell you like, hey, this is the wrong thing. All right, let's see if this is the right thing. One should be it. It should just be the next one. We don't want to. In the path, we don't want it to move the whole way. It just can, each token can only move one step at a time, is what we're doing here. $20, $15 is the target, and we know it's one of these. Yeah, it's that one. Let's make sure that that's the right 2-2. Yeah, so that's the right target. Speed. I like this song. New Model Army. It's like a guilty pleasure that I have, but they have some bad songs. Why the fuck isn't this moving? I just want to, after it finds the path, I want it to immediately go path 1 X path, and it's showing the right path. It's showing the right location. Target. Maybe I put that in the wrong spot. Let's look at this again. Target, step, current, target, max distance vector, distance delta. Let's make sure that this is attached. It's something dumb that I'm forgetting here. Maybe it doesn't know it's current. No, it should, because it's getting the thing. Let's make sure that this is, I know it is, but let's make sure. Yeah, move token. Am I not saving this? No, it's saved. There was one game. where it was moving so slowly. I might restart Unity because we got that other weird bug. Okay, this is just making sure we weren't getting that weird bug. Okay, it's definitely not moving. Let's restart Unity. I've actually been having tons of issues with the Unity because I went to this version. I'm used to that though. Uh, yeah, see, I got his Code Monkey's Hex pathfinding there. Well, that's loading. Let's look at this again. Oh, right. We needed an update. Jesus Christ. I do that every time. I do that every fucking time. Uh, we'll just do this. Jesus Christ. Oh. And I even thought in my head, I was like, doesn't this need to have a thing that's going all the time? We're gonna put a variable in here. No, that will be fine. Fixed update happens after enable, so it'll be fine. Jesus fucking Christ. Every time my memory, I'm gonna stop complaining about my memory, but one day I'll stop complaining about it. Basically, my memory is terrible. And let's do this guy. Okay, so that is what we wanted it to do. We wanted it to go one step. So this is the problem though with this move towards bullshit, is even if I put like 100 in here, I don't think it will go any faster. I think we're gonna need it to lerp or some shit. Oh, I also did. I left out one step in my whole story. I also downloaded that Aaron, whatever his name is. Uh, he has a pathfinding thing that uses like dots and is pretty awesome. Oh, that time it moved fast. In my other game, it wouldn't. It would only move up to a certain amount. That's actually what the speed we want it to go. Okay, so this is what we're gonna need to do though. We want it to go fast. Can we go faster than that? Can we make it like teleport? We don't want the AI people moving, slowing down the player. Basically, the player should be able to push the movement keys as fast as he possibly can. That was fast. That was fast. All right, so this is what we're gonna do instead. We're gonna put we don't even have a UI set up yet at all. We're gonna I don't know. I usually don't do that. Let's just add let's do this. I usually just put a canvas in. UI object canvas. And I guess we could just call it whatever. I'm not having it down here. We're going to have it up here. And I would like to see this canvas. When I hit play, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work because it moves the camera around. I want to make sure that... What happens if I add in I suddenly was like worried about this. I just want to add in like a button. Oh, we can't do this in play mode. See, okay, that will be fine. No, that's what we want. We're going to add in a UI button. See, I haven't even done that. I haven't even done the essentials. All right, 1,000 might be a little fast. Let's go 500. I wonder why it wasn't working on my other game. Look at all this shit it just added in. It's fine. And close this crap. Okay, so the button though, we want it upper right corner. That's fine. That's fine. We don't give a shit. We're just gonna call it move. This is just for like this isn't going to be something that we actually do. Oh fuck, how are we going to do this though? On click, we're going to want it to tell it to move. And so when we click it, we're going to say like move. The little guy should move to the next step. So he shouldn't move automatically. Basically, we shouldn't. Oh, you know what we could just do? Right now, so right now we're like kind of half-assing everything because this is the very early. I don't even have like a list or anything attached to these tokens. I guess I could do it on move token. How would we know what we're instantiating this guy? Let's put this in some shitty spot like create grid. What do we have in background? Oh, that's just to move the camera around and make the thing the right size. All right, we're going to put this in create grid, even though it's a terrible spot for it. You know, we could put it in spawn enemy. Spawn enemy is attached, though, to the goblin, I think. Now, where is spawn enemy attached to? Oh, it's attached to this thing. We'll put it in spawn enemy for now. What I'm talking about is we need a variable that says, like, move. Move the thing. Oh, we actually have the token here. We could put it in here because we know this thing. This is going to be a public. This is going to be a private. Bool. I'm just going to say, I'm going to call it move. And this is going to be move token. And then we will have a move. What's your problem? Oh, right. It can't be in the same as the thing. Move goblin. Or we can just call it move. There we go. And then we need a button. And this is going to be a public void. And it already knows what I'm up to. If it would let me not fuck that up. Okay, so that will set that to true. This will be far. True, do this. We probably want to connect this to that spawn enemy. Did I not make it public? Oh, I put it on the move thing. Okay, this thing needs to be changed to the spawn guy. And we're going to go to here. I just can't have it on the prefab, not right now at least. And we'll have the move up here. Do I have it? I do have an instance. Look at this. They put it keeps auto-generating these instances and putting the getter setter in. This time it put a private set. That's kind of interesting. So you can read, but you can't write to these. Huh. We'll leave it that way until we need to change it. This is going to be a public bool move. Yeah, it's the same thing. But then over here on this guy, we're going to say if we're going to get rid of this move. I was on the wrong script, basically. We're going to go to spawn enemy instance, and so right now it should just move forward once, and because we don't even have it turned off or anything. So this thing shouldn't start once I spawn. I forget why I didn't have the player spawning automatically. Maybe we'll check that to get it's for laziness. Okay, that still was pretty fast, but you can see it happening, and that's what counts. You can tell that it happened. All right, so what I want this to do is I want it to reset after we hit the first move. Every time I hit move, I want it to move along the path. Just for this testing. We don't need this shit here. We don't need this shit here. That's fine. Okay, so at the end of the move, I don't think I can... Oh, look at this. It's having it remove... Huh. Oh, it didn't like that. I was actually like, is this really what do we want? It doesn't like the vector 2 shit. I forget how to fix this. Will it tell us? No. There's like an equals, a compared. But that's actually not what I was going to put there. I was just, it auto-populated that. Remove it 0, though. Honestly, remove it 0 should be... Well, let's look at this. Let's first comment that out. So I think the issue we're going to have here is when it does this path, I think I still have... Oh, right, we're going to comment this out. Like I just said, we got to comment this out, and then I didn't do it. I want to look at the path because I think it's putting when it generates the path, I'm pretty sure it puts the first. Yeah, the path automatic. It already has because any enemy info location. That's not what that should say. That should just say enemy location. I was doing something else before that I decided not to do. That I didn't need it right now. It's putting its starting point in the list. So what we could do, let's think about this. We could. All right, so that's the enemy's starting look. What am I looking at? Spawn enemy. Wonder if we could skip it recording the starting location. Do we need the starting location? You know what we could do instead? We could remove it 1. And the starting thing would be there. I'm just trying to think of if there's a reason for us to keep the starting thing. Because if there isn't, I don't think there is. So let's do it this way. Let's start this out, and I'm going to put a note in here. We're going to remove at 0. We're going to blow away the starting point right here. Remove the starting location from the path because we don't need it. And then then the new one will be 0. So once we get rid of that, the new 0 will be here. Let's make sure that that works. Let's make sure that my hypothesis here works. And you know what? Before we do that, let's see why I wasn't having this thing just spawn immediately. Spawn player token. Like why not? Why do I have this turned off? What happens if I have it turned on? We'll see. Sometimes I can't remember my own logic here. No, it's fine. All right, so that's just one less thing that I have to click. Then if I click move, if you remove at, does it? No, it should kick the 1 should become 0. I'm on the wrong thing here. This shouldn't have still been here. Okay, so we got a couple of things that this can't be here because this is just debug logging the whatchamacallit, the path, which is fine. That's what we want. We want to be able to see it in the log right now. So this is going to be happening so this can't be in here. It's basically what happened was it just like deleted everything out of there in a flash of brilliance. So we got to get this out. We got to get this out of here though. Find path, and then at the end of find path, so this actually comes back with the path right here. This is the part, the path finding. So it returns the path. We have this path, and it says, "Hey, if it's not null, go through the whole path. Path found," and it says, "Go through the whole time." It does do that, but we could also remove the first one right here. Then move is going to move it to there. So let's do this again here. For some reason, I'm dying for a smoke. Yeah, so I had to turn on like a thing that said that there's excessive profanity, and then that's perfect. That's exactly what we want it to do. And then there was also another one that said like excessive discussion of alcoholism or alcohol or tobacco, and I was like, I do talk about drinking because I used to be a heavy drinker, and do talk about smoking because I do smoke. Okay, so when this is done, I'll get this shit out of here. Why would oh, I see. Because this is talking about if it, um, we can actually do this. We can use this code. See, this is what I'm talking about, where like some of this stuff that it suggests, it might not be perfect, but it's gonna, oh, right, we had that stupid thing. I gotta remember how to do that. I did it one other time. that I didn't end up using it. Unity compare vector to. This doesn't have an example, huh? Who writes this shit? They are not to. Oh, I guess they have. They are up to that. Who writes this shit? So how do I do this? I bet you there's a better example here. I think I actually had ChatGPT write it last time. I'm using ChatGPT so much, it's crazy. Oh, I thought that was Kurt. That's not what I want. Is that old? It's not that old. Uh, it literally, I thought it used the word compare. I mean, I feel like this, if it knows that it's wrong, then it should tell me how to do it. Um, oh, wait, is one of these vector 3? No. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Like I said, I've been using it so much. You know the other reason why I like it now? I wasn't too into it before. Uh, so if I were to ask this question, let's say I Google for a while and I couldn't find it, or I didn't understand the solution that I got. If I was to ask uh, on whatchamacallit, Stack Overflow, they would just ridicule me. And I don't want to be ridiculed. I just want to know the answer to the question. Vector 2 variables and Unity. Uh, and so that's the thing. I can ask it every stupid. So, like, here's a stupid question I asked: 0 is even. Like, I was pretty positive that 0 is considered an even number, but I wasn't 100% positive. No, it doesn't like that. Compare vectors. Compare vectors. No, no. See, but it's wrong sometimes. It doesn't like the. It doesn't like. It wants me to use equals, right? Return true if the given vector is exactly equal to this vector. It wants me to use equals. Okay, so it's just like that. I wasn't sure how to write it. So it's not like I mean, I guess I'm a dumb shit for not figuring out that I can just do a period dot equals, but what do I know? And so like I can ask it whatever questions I want. Like I said, I don't get ridiculed. And I've never posted anything on whatchamacallit, Stack Overflow, because I don't want to get ridiculed. Okay, so if this reach, if this equals that, if the target position, or if its current position equals the target position, remove the 0. No. Actually, I'm curious what this would look like. I think it's going to go like really fast, but that's not actually what we want it to do. That's the noise it's going to make. Now we got to spawn this thing. That's what it did. Well, if I push it again, it breaks, as expected. All right, so that's kind of what we want, except we don't want this part. What we want is this to actually be up here. Whoa. And we're going to clean all that shit up later. So what I want it to do is every time I push move, it moves one piece, one step, because that's the way that the game is going to be. You know, he'll move, you'll move, he'll move, you'll move. Look at that shit. And that was half written, and then we got there. That was like half written by goddamn artificial intelligence. That was really easy. What's the problem then? Some other problem must be happening. Okay, I know what one problem is. What happens if this guy moves? We need to readjust. So we're using the same path, and we actually shouldn't. We should be getting a new path every step, because it's this guy's turn to move, and he's gonna move, let's say, to here, and so then this needs to recalculate the path. But we're pretty on mark there. All right, and that's perfect timing. It's been an hour, so I'm gonna go have a smoke. And why did I open this up? Oh, I wanted to stop my music. And then let me throw up my break timer. And I will be back in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so I thought of something I want to do before we do that next thing, and I actually think. Let me turn on my break timer. Let me look at this code real quick. No, it doesn't find the path. Um, on enable, it finds the path. We could switch. Let's do that later, but I think we could just move this to here. Well, we can just do it now. Let's see what happens. How fast does it take to find the path? Like, is it slow? Oh, except our start is. We'll just move these up here. Private. And this here. Private. So I think it also, it must offload. So I was trying to figure out why they, like, why the tutorials and ChatGPT always put everything inside. So I always put this shit out here, and I think that's wrong. I think. Anyways, so I think it must offload this when it's done with it. Like, it offloads that. Is why they put that in there. You know what I mean? It's not holding that thing in memory. That must be why. When it's done with it, it just gets rid of it, which makes sense. What the fuck were we doing? We were just testing this to make sure that this still works after those changes I just did. Oh no, it stops working. Because the path. Oh, because the path. I see what's happening. Because the path is getting generated from this start location. And that is not the current. The goal won't change, but the start location would. And the start location would actually be. I think this is a vector 2 int. Yeah, it is. I just made this infinitely more complicated when I didn't need to do it. What happens? Let me think here. This needs to go back up here for the beginning. Let's see. I think the problem that we're going to have here is that, well, let's see. I don't know. I think it's going to be trying to find the path over and over again while it's moving, which is going to be pretty inefficient. You know, even though it only takes a second in our eyes to move, it's like there's 60 of those things per second. Yeah, that works, but I bet you it's really inefficient. See, it even knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so we'll leave it right there. I don't know why, but we will. The next thing I want to do is we want to have the ability to, on the fly, I want to be able to click. This is just for testing. Click like here, 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 you know, and make that inaccessible. and then have this thing move along. And these should all be inaccessible to start with. So let's do that part too, because that's the walls. Oh, there's also a thing I wanted to point out that I don't know how to fix, but I think tell me if you have an opinion on this. So if you look, these corners are part of the wall, but they don't really need to exist on each side. And if we look at my grid, well, we gotta be able to see it here. It's 0, 0, and then it's the last one. So we could just delete those, but it's gonna look weird. It's not gonna look like a square. You know, it'd be like this weird shape. I don't know. So tell me what you think. We just delete those two. And it just moves to the other side if you change the size of the grid. If you change the size of the grid to, let's say, a 9 by 10, it just changes. This is gonna fuck everything up, but it just changes like where the issue is. I think maybe a 9 by 10 might not. No, I think it just moves it over. Let me see. Yeah, it just moves the issue over one. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm worried about something that doesn't matter. That's why I haven't really dealt with it. Anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to, I currently have somewhere, I don't know what it's attached to. Pathfinding, main camera maybe? No. No, what did I call this thing? I have the controls somewhere. Oh, maybe it's in the grid creator. I didn't think I left it in there. No, I didn't leave it in there. Where the fuck did I put it? Select hex. That's what it. There we go. Then we need. We're gonna put another if statement in here. Will it do it for me? There we go. We want the right button. Oh wait, we were gonna do the other thing first. I guess we'll save this. What was the other thing we were gonna do? It flashed through my head for a second. Oh, make the walls inaccessible. So that is in the grid creator. We are currently there. The hexes are. So what it's talking about is this thing is accessible. See, this doesn't have the private thing. The identifier should never change. And on awake, we're setting them as true. And in reality, we shouldn't be doing that. Let's get this out of here. And what we should do instead is in the grid creator, this is the wall hex. This is the inside wall. This is going to be hex. Yeah, and this is the thing. So each hex is controlled by two numbers. That's the vector int thing. The inside hex. And this is the wall hex, should be false. All right, so that's setting those, and hopefully that we don't have a way to check that right now. I guess we could. It doesn't matter. Trying to think if there's a way we could put a debug log, I suppose. But who gives a shit? It's got to be right, right? Let's just run it. Let's assume that I never make any mistakes. And enable that guy. Okay, just making sure he's getting there. Now back to select hex. Oh, we didn't save this. And select hex, we want this to not be this. If game object hex, we do want that. I guess we can leave that debug long then. This one isn't tagged, that's fine. Hex hex. So this is attached to each hex. I believe it should be. Let's double check here. Select. Yep. Wish this computer screen was a little larger. It reminds me, I'm still the stupid fucking Origin PC. Now they have my computer, and I said, "What's an ET?" And they're like, "We're fixing it." And I was like, "What's an ET?" And they're like, "We don't know." Fuck you. We don't know. We don't give a shit. Fuck you. Like, okay. All right. So we're gonna be using the hex script that's on this game component. And if we right click, we're going to have this hex, and we're going to say change this to is accessible equals false. And then this is something I was just thinking about. Well, I wasn't just thinking about it, but we want to also change. We're going to change what it looks like to this rough yellow one. So we need to stick that somewhere. And I don't have like a temporary stick shit somewhere script like I normally do. I normally have like a controller script, but I've been trying not to do that this time, but I think I need to have one. And what we're going to need to do here is we'll just create an empty game object and call it controller like I always do. I think this is probably not something you're not supposed to do, but I don't know. We can reset its things so we can find it if we ever need it. And then we'll just start a new script here. I just need a place to stick something. And we'll open this up. We'll open this up. And we're just going to use I guess we need an instance. Public controller. I'm surprised it hasn't given me the instance thing. Wow, normally... Maybe it's because I didn't put static here. Normally it kicks in... I'm very surprised. Oops. There we go. Then we're also going to need a public. That's actually what I wanted, but we're going to call this yellow hex prefab. And we're going to stick this on here. Then we're going to go to our hex. I keep doing that. I keep putting that's like a really common mistake for me to make right now. Then we're going to put this yellow prefab hex here. And I just pulled these out of some hex tile map, and it seems to work. We'll see how good this works with this thing. So then I think what we're also going to need... I think we're going to need... I hate to do it with every hex, but we're going to need to have the hexes. Let's see, we look at this one. There's sprite renderer, because we're going to need to change this sprite to a different color. You know, I guess we don't need it on here, honestly. We don't need it here. Where's my select hex thing? We just need is accessible false, but we need hex. We need sprite renderer. Yep. And then we'll say, hey, that's something I've used in the past. Sprite renderer. Renderer. I just want to, yeah. Dot sprites equals. I think we just do this, though. You don't like that, huh? Oh, that's a prefab. It's not a sprite. Okay, so it was right. Huh. Okay. Now let's see if this does what I want it to do. I'd be shocked if it was this equal, this easy. I guess we're deploying, yeah, that's a weird way to do it. Let's see here. I guess I didn't pull this out how I thought I had. All right, so we don't want that to be a tile. We want it to just be a sprite. Where's that weird thing? And we want this to be yellow hex. And then we want... Which one was it? Can't read this shit. 1A5, I think. Yep. Can I copy this name and put it somewhere temporarily? 1A5. All right. I just know I'm going to forget. And then if we go back to... I don't think this is going to work. I'm very... Why are you not saving? I know. I just got rid of it. Oh, it's upset that that's still there? It's because this select thing. There we go. Now I can put this in here. Now I can put this in here. Except I just clicked the wrong. All right. Now let's see if this does something. I do this sprite switching around shit all the time in my other things I've done. Oh, you know what it is, I think, actually. I know what this is. That was a different problem. Oh, wait, it's acting like it's in 36 is the problem. I was going to say I don't have right set up. Well, it would have gotten to right-clicked on inside. Oh, okay, it did. It is this problem. So what is this? Let me look at this again. Let me see. I'm in deep thought here. Oh, I know. God damn it. This has happened to me so many fucking times, man. Oh my god. And I do every single time. Every single fucking time I go, what just happened happens every single time, and then I find, oh fuck, I forgot to put awake in the awake the instance thing. Every single fucking time. Well, that isn't what we wanted. That looks kind of cool. That does look kind of cool. I mean, that's a bug, but that... Now what happens if we spawn this thing? What is its path now? There's an easy way to set. Well, it's not easy. This is how I check this. Oh, did I turn off the path thing? I think I got rid of the find path. Oops, not there. It was on move token. I think I got rid of the... Well, it works. I would like that to turn to yellow. I wonder why it's... You know what we could do is we can just look. We could see what's happening, because each grid is its own thing. So let's make this. So what did I just click on here? Right clicked on H22 7. What is your sprite now? Okay, I double clicked it and it just opened up this tile palette. And that's part of the issue. Let's click it again. I didn't think I could just use these. Yeah, it's putting the right one in there, but it's not. I can't just put these things. I somehow like dragged them around and got them all fucked up. Maybe I can like but that's fine. Black actually works fine. We could, if we're gonna do that though, let's do it for real. What happens if we just go to, because that looks kind of cool. Whoa, I got caps lock on, I guess. And if we just get rid of the sprite. Like they're fighting through a hole in hell. All right, let's put, so that still works. So let's do this then. We know this is going to start. I want to leave like a little path through. So, you know, it's like going to be a maze here. It's going to have to go through this way. That looks good to me. Perfect. That's just for testing too. We're not actually going to be right clicking on stuff. Oh, here's the path. I don't know. Why did I not see it before? Huh. I don't know. Okay, so we have that set. What do we need to do next? I've progressed way more than I thought. I thought I was gonna be struggling with that move shit for 3 hours. I usually stream for 3 hours. I don't know. I could call it a day. um, huh. I don't even know what to do. This thing doesn't have a collider on it. We're gonna want to put a collider on here. Does the enemy have a collider on it? It doesn't. We're also gonna want a collider on that thing. Wow, that now I'm shocked that this was so easy. It's all because of ChatGPT. I know I'm just like sucking ChatGPT's dick here, left and right. Um, but this would have been so. I would still be struggling with this if I wrote this whole thing, and this is like I said. Oh, I deleted it. The pathfinding I had from like what's his fuck, Code Monkey. I could not make heads or tails of it. And so I understand this because like I understand some of this because of Chat GPT, Code Monkey, because he explained like what open set is, what closed set is. Uh, this code I don't think is identical to his code. Um, and I tried like copying and pasting his code and stuff, and just trying to like modify that. It did not work. Um, what else could like that was so? I'm gonna drink some water here and think about this. And this also makes me question something. So, if we go back to my controls here, and I have some test controls, here we can look at them. I created this for left click, but I don't actually have a right click control in here, so I don't actually need these controls. I'm using the new input system. So I'm gonna delete this if I don't need this shit. I thought I needed this. Whoops. But obviously I don't, because right click is working. I can delete the whole thing probably. Let's see what happens. That works. What happens if I delete this whole thing? I don't really want to recreate them, but I mean they're called test controls, so that's not going to be. I probably just did a horrible. I probably just made a horrible mistake, but we'll see here. It does work without that there, huh? I do really like how that just disappears into the black. All right, so I wasn't prepared for this. I totally thought this was going to take longer. If we go, I have. I already wrote. So I started over with the tile set thing, and I tried a bunch of different shit. So here's Code Monkey's stuff. I might have just deleted it. Scripts player. Let me think about this. Inputs. Well, you're going to need this first. These are already done, so I can just put these over here. Wow. So this is, I wanted, when you move, I'm going to use the 10 key. We could also make it, so I want it to just be keyboard, and you just like go really fast, like you hit 7 to go to the northwest, etc., etc., etc. So that's there. We want it to generate the C class, though. Classic mistake is not to have that happen. Apply. So then we want to, man, I already have this stuff written. Because I started this originally. I guess I missed this whole thing. I started this originally with moving my guy around. That was the important part, was the moving the guy around. And it turned out that was not an important part. That was, I needed, the grid was the most important part. So I started over with just finding the grid. Let's see what these are. Oh, I have a player info one on here. Player impact, because I had it as far as it being able to attack another person. But the thing is, my grid was that tile map grid, which does not, you got to be able to create the grid. That's the first step there. So let's pull over some of this shit. Player actions. What does that mean? What was in there? Player control, we're going to need. Player info, I already have in here, I think, as a public class, though. Yeah. I don't think it's actually used anywhere, though. Yeah, it's not used anywhere because I was going to use it and then I didn't. So we're going to rename it. And I'll probably get it out of here in a second. But I just want it here temporarily until while I move this one over. Player impact. I wonder why I called it that. Whoops, wrong spot. Scripts. We're going to go through these here. Because this is turn-based. And then we'll put this player info in the scripts part 2. And, So first things first, that may have been a mistake. I probably should have opened those up on another screen and pulled over what we wanted to do. But let's look at player control here. What the fuck is this? Oh yeah, this was surprisingly difficult. I forgot. This is a surprisingly pain in my ass. All right, so it looks like it's doing a vector 2 direction. This is kind of different though. I've changed how I did this. How would that work? So this is moving it around. Oh look, they're not by 10 either. They're just by 1. So my things are 10. Like my hexes are 10. 10 by 10. The thing and these were 1 by 1, I guess. I wonder if that mean, like, why does that matter? Let's look at this. Let's put this at a scale of 1. So this is on a 1920 by 1080 monitor. This is a scale of 1. I think that's fine though. You want it. These graphics are just temporary. Again, I know I said that earlier. I think this is good because this would be like a normal. I want them to be bigger. You want to be able to look at them, and then we'll put in a camera to move. We'll put in cinema machines to move it up and down. Okay, so let's do this. We got to figure out how these controls are going to work. They're not going to work like this. Are these still? I close this. Are these still? I think they're still in here, but I'm just going to make sure. Not scenes. See, I was trying to generate that. I had to give up, man. I had to give up and start over. All right, this shit's all here, so we don't need to save any of this stuff. Player control, I'm fine with that name. The fuck is this? Is that what I called that other thing? We can stop this. In the inputs controls, I called them player controls. That's what it was. Okay, so I'm already thinking of how this would work. So let's hit play so we can look at a hex thing while we think this through. So with these hexes, they're offset. You know, I didn't even notice that this was not at 1. My camera is set up wrong then. We deal with that later. Okay, so currently the way I had it in that other script is I have it manually moving by the position of the game object, which is not, I don't think how we want to do it, because what we want to do is check what hex it's currently in, and we want it to move and say like, hey, is this inaccessible or not? If it's accessible, then we want you to move to it, and that information is all currently stored on the hex right here. We don't want to have like a collider interacting with that. Well, we're going to use colliders when we attack stuff, but not when we're moving to hexes. So this information is already here. We already have the identifier. So we already have that. We can already check. So we need to move not by hex, or not by position. We're going to move by what hex we're going to by this. So we're going to be going by their name. Well, not by their name, but by their identifiers. So we're going to have to go through here. So this is what we're going to do here. So this makes it a little bit more complicated because they're offset, because that's what hexes, because of the pointy top. So let's think this through here. So if we go back to our player controls, player control. I guess, whatever. We don't give a shit, right? This is going to be attached to... This will be attached to the whatchamacallit. Oh, no, we can't do it that way. We don't need this tile map in here. We don't need pretty much any of this shit in here. We don't need this tile map thing in here either. I'm thinking. Like I said, I wasn't mentally prepared for this shit at all. We're actually going to kind of do this, but it's going to be in vector2 int. They're not going to be here. Yeah, so let me this is going to be down here. And it's going to run. Oh, see, I named them this thing. So they're going to have the individual things that they run, because they're going to need to know. They're going to need to know. All right, so let's go back to the most basic part of this. Where is this thing going to be attached to? If we attach it to the game object, we can't put this in. I guess it doesn't matter. That's fine. We can attach this to the game object. The controls will be on here. This is not going to be here. All right, let's attach this to our game object, our player prefab. Player control. There we go. Save that shit. Save that shit. Did it save? I guess it saved. This is going to be a vector to int, and this is actually right for some of it, but not for all of it. And we are going to have player move player sprite. All right, this is the direction we're putting in. All right, so first things we need to know is where, the first thing we need to do is, this all works. I'm going to let this thing, it doesn't want to do it for me. Huh. All right, I guess it's not the end of the world. I was going to let it fill in its thing, but that it keeps doing, and I guess I could just type it in there manually, but I'm so, there we go. That's, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but I'm going to let it keep doing that. We don't need this. We kind of need that, but not the way that we would think. We need this awake. This start we're going to need, but I want to get all these bugs out of here. It's weird editing my own code and be like, oh, this isn't how this works. Did we attach this to something? We just did, I think. Controller. Oh, we attached it to itself, which makes sense. Move player sprite. Let's rename this to move player token. I like the word token better because they kind of look like tokens. You know, they're not going to look like that for long, though. See, what I was having it do is feed these in, but we can't do that because of the offset. So when we have in our find neighbor thing, which is here. Okay, it's not there. Create grid creator. It's this. This is what we need out of here. I'm going to copy this. We're going to need this. I don't think we want it up at the top like that. We're basically going to tear all of this code up. I don't know why it's doing that. What did I just do? Oh, it's an if statement is the problem. Well, we'll stick it in here. Okay, first thing we're going to need to know with this is the player token is going to need to know where it's at. That's the first thing it's going to need to know is, let's go back to these scripts. And what does this player info one say? This probably has some combat and shit in here. Oh, this is a mono behavior as well. Wonder why I put this in here. Why did I make this a mono behavior? Oh, look at this. Oh, and I made it a vector 3? What a piece of shit I am. This is a dumb way to do this. Okay. Maybe it's not a dumb, I feel so superior to the knowledge I didn't have 5 minutes ago. And like last week, I didn't know how to do it. There's an easier way to do this. We're going to make this a public class. I mean, we could just attach it to the token because as a mono behavior. I don't really see the necessity for that, though. We can just have this sitting here. We don't need this shit at all, then. We don't need this. We do need player turn. Oh, it's already up there. I wonder why I did that. This is going to be a vector to int, though. And we're going to call it current position. I don't know why I would call it last position. Did we care about where it was going? Oh, I know why I was calling it last position is because you try to move and it has to bounce back to that. That's fine. Current position, and then we're going to need a public player info. Come on, buddy, just fill this out for me. Thank you. See, like, how lazy you can be with this shit? Like, how much time did that save me? These are ints. This is your 2-hit chance. This is the damage that you do. Yeah, we're going to keep... Is it the player's turn? This is going to be above that, though. And let's move this to right here. I'm all anal about this shit. Okay. I don't know why there's all these. Oh, because I have this somewhere in here. We're going to pretty much use none of this, I think. Yeah, I wonder why I did that. And if this is attached to the thing, nothing else is going to be accessing this. I don't think. I'm going to put a note up here. I can't see what's going on, but I'm not sure. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, I didn't know how. All right. So the player control is attached to, and that is attached to, the actual token. And then we're going to need a private player info. How do we assign that if it's a, maybe that's why we want it, we had it as a mono behavior. Was so that we could attach, so that we could, because we can't, how do you normally do it? I'm always assigning them with lists and shit. Oh, I know what we do on awake. We just do a new. Not with that though. Oh, I guess we do. We do it like that. On awake, it's going to be a new player info with that information needs to be assigned in there though. Get this shit out of here. That's how I was doing before. That's why that was a mono behavior. It was because that way I can just attach it there, and then on awake it would have. That's fine for now. Maybe we'll have a reason not to make it a mono behavior. It's basically it's out of laziness and ignorance. But then this we don't need anymore. How are we doing Hex? Hex is attached. Volt, how's it going? How's your day? Yeah, so this is the same. So yeah, we'll just attach this to the thing and we'll decide later if we need to make it something else. Your day is middle of the night? I, I always say I gotta stop saying, how's your weekend day? Because sometimes it's not weekend too when I'm saying it's weekend. How's your existence? How's your existence? Prefab player. We're gonna attach this player. Did I not save this thing? Looks saved. Up to anything exciting in the middle of the night? Why aren't you showing up on here? Oh, it's still, yeah, I guess we will need instance on here, and that will solve all these problems. Dogs outside barking. I am lucky, inside my house, I barely ever hear anything. I feel like I'm very lucky with that, because I hear, my parents complain about their houses, and that has some, like, crazy dogs going to town all the time. This is going to be a public. Like I said, I almost never hear dogs or anything else. Occasionally I hear motorcycles from my neighbor, but not that frequently. Where are you in the world, if I may ask? Last position, we're going to call this, what are we doing here? This is impact. We called this current. And this is going to be called current. Whoops. I do know why I called it last position. Yeah, this is a vector too. Let's just comment this shit out because we're gonna do this. Romania. I am working on a hex game. Let me go back to it. If all the bugs are gone, or if all the errors are gone. Um, so it's funny. It has been extremely hot here. It hasn't been that terrible, but um, I work with some people in Mexico, and same thing, man. They're like one of my. So I'm an IT guy, so the guy's like calling me and helping me with this computer, and he's like, "How bad it is if my computer fan is just going as fast as it possibly can?" He's like it's 100 degrees in my house, so everywhere is getting that fucking heat wave. Anyways, I am making a game where it's a hex map. I'm in the very infancy, very infancy. So, and this is all temporary graphics, um, where hex map, and so far is all I've gotten. It's turn based. Is that you can spawn a guy and then he can move towards you. This is as far as we've gotten. That's it. Well, he moved on top of it. But the plan is to have it so that your character summons demons, and there's another game that I highly recommend. Like I said, I already said this thing earlier, but I highly recommend it, called Path of Achra. It's inexpensive too, but basically it's really fast. It's turn based, and there's one class, the summoning class, where you can summon up to like 20 guys. At least that's as many as I could summon, and it inspired me to. I was like, I want a game where you can summon like 100 guys. Um, Yes, I am using 2023. I like to be on the cutting edge, even if it does cause issues. My music stopped playing, so I gotta pick new music. It is a bit buggy. What was I thinking about? There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to get my... All right, there we go. You know, I clicked on this earlier. The game was playing, and I'm not messing with lights yet. Um, I am not messing with lights at all. And I clicked on this earlier. Oh, it's not doing it now. And it said something about, you know, some lights are blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't really care right now because I'm not, you know, I'm not doing anything with them. Yeah, it probably wouldn't even have an effect on anything. They're just there from when I started it. No, but I get like the, you know, like so I always try to like not be on the cutting edge, but like I try to keep up to date. And when I moved from 2021 to 2022 Unity, there was a bunch of bugs at the beginning, and then they slowly went away. And that's the same thing happened when I went to 2023. Is they're just little bugs. They're not like um, where Unity is broken and I can't use it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be using this. But I like just sometimes I have to restart Unity because it will get some weird shit going down here. Um, but I swear to God that this stop button wasn't here before. That's the only thing I've noticed that's different. And I might do some lighting for like fog of war and stuff, but I don't. That's so far down there. I'm like so early on. Um, okay, what was I? Okay, I was gonna do the info. Yeah, URP. Um, so we are gonna do this. I'm gonna put a thing here. And then we don't need that because we're not going to use it yet. We're not going to use the player actions right now. We're just going to do the very basics. And I'm a noob when it comes to developing, so this is where we're at. So like I'm learning everything as I'm going. Didn't I talk to you before? Your name sounds familiar. A long while ago. Because I stream another game that it's a 2D 4X game. This is the first time I've streamed this one. And so on the 2D 4X game, I've streamed every amount of all of the programming I've streamed and saved to my YouTube channel. So it's like 48 times 3, whatever that is. So it's like 144 hours. But this is the first time, and I'm not going to do that with this one. I feel like streaming this one, and I felt like working on this one instead of the other one today. So I don't think this move token. So all right, that's what we were doing. We were saying that we need to know the location where we spawn. Yeah, so this is no longer going to be... Oh, I started to do this, it looks like. But... I'm thinking here how we're going to... How are we doing that with... Oh, we're just putting in a hex. When we create the grid... Where is this grid creator attached to? I can't remember. Oh, it's attached to the grid. And we put those two prefabs. How did I do this before? Is it? I haven't used any water at all. You do 3D stuff mostly? Yeah. So 3D is way above my level. I screwed around with some 3D stuff and like tried to work with animations and things. Oh, that's how this is happening. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and that solved my problem. Sometimes I like forget how to do what I did like the day before. Okay, once this thing is spawned, we actually know what this is. We just need to go game object, player token. No, we already called it. We already called something the player token. What is this? This is the prefab though. Okay, let's put it something here, and we'll rename this thing. And then this, we can go to that. Here, I'm just gonna click some random link that someone posted in chat. Looks pretty good. What is this? This swirling thing? I think I said that. I think. Yeah, water is so hard, man. Any type of mesh. I think that's over my level of knowledge. Are there different types? Um, Both mostly. So I work with some animations, but I pulled all of my characters from what is that thing called? It's the Adobe thing that's kind of defunct. um, Mixamo, and the only meshes that I had to work with was trying to fix like broken meshes, and from the import, and that was like even that was above my level. So what we can do here is no, we don't give a shit. Oh, no, we don't give a shit about that. What we can do is get component. Yes, that's what we want. Is that right there? Um, I sadly, yeah, I would like to learn how to do the animations and stuff. Animations really. So I have another thing that I tried. Um, I forget what it's called. It's 3D real time gladiator, and that it just like the animations fucking killed me, man. Like they're so hard for me for like I understand how they work, but you have to like move each part and like just like I could import animations from other people and then trying to get gravity to work where their foot wasn't sometimes slipping through the floor, and it was so frustrating to me. I think that's where I was at with that. Oh, I have it right here too. Um, Whoops, that's not what I want. Let's see if it still exists. This might actually, the computer might not like this. So I would like to be able to do it. It's just so hard for me. Let's see if this will open. I don't remember what state it was in either. Is this a public? What did I do with this? This is a public vector. Can I type in here that spawn? I wonder if I can. While we're waiting here. Oh, I could have just typed this in here. I feel like every time I mess with the animations, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and then I installed Blender and tried to mess with those animations. I did many a tutorial with the animations. Um, so I figured like with this game, it just these are like temporary graphics, but even in this state, you know, like a top down, like if I put the, you know, if I get like an artist to help me and put them, you know, not 100% top down, but like off to the side, uh, even then that's going to be easier than, and maybe even put, so I can kind of deal with 2D animations, but the 3D ones, fuck no, I have um, no ability to deal with those. I got to put this prefab in here. I renamed this variable, so I can put that in there. Um, this is going. It may actually mess up my sometimes when I open when it's chugging real hard. My computer can't do OBS as well. Um, if that thing ever opens, I'll show you as far as I got it. Well, but like I said, I don't know what state it's in. It could be in a horrible state. So we got player. I can hear my computer. Actually, I can hear the hard drive or the fan spinning. It doesn't like that I did this, but um, what was I doing? Yeah, it's struggling to open that thing. Well, I guess it's got to convert. I guess it's got to convert everything. All right, man. Have a good night. What is it not like? Spawn player token? Oh yeah, it's got all sorts of issues. Oh yeah, I forgot I changed it to a dude too. The generic guy. Yeah, this thing's got all sorts of problems. So I probably wouldn't have done anything anyways. Um, did I not put the player info on the prefab? That is quite possible. Oh right, I couldn't because it was bugged. It was bugged at the time. All right, so let's fix that. Player info. There was a error, so it wouldn't allow me to attach it. There we go. And that should solve that. All right. And then, so this is going to be assigned to the current position. I actually kind of liked it. Say, it's fine. We'll leave it. I don't need to worry about that much. So now it knows which hex it's in. That's what this is. Um, can I change this on the fly? No, there's no reason to have this public. Um, this can go, or I guess it's a. Yeah, there's no reason to have this. We'll probably want to change this eventually. So on this part, I know I'm all over the place right now. Um, on this part, so this is the enemy guy. we're going to assign this differently later, but right now we just need to get this from the player token where the thing's connected. So this is like without me doing like a list and stuff, which we might want to do. The player, so like the controller would hold the list of tokens, which would make this a hell of a lot easier than me trying to figure out. Like, so I'm trying to think how would we have the enemy token interact with the other token unless it was a list that was collected somewhere else. So let's do this. Let's just do a list for now in this controller. Public list of the fuck is that? Public list of player info, I guess. And it has the current position. What's your problem here? Oh, right, this isn't a list anymore, though. This is a mono behavior that I stuck on there. So we could do a list of game objects. Now, what's your problem here? We got to do it the other way, which I cannot remember. I never can remember how to do this. Do I have one in my other? I just need a plain old list. Why am I doing all this when we were just gonna work? Oh, because we need to know where the thing is for the controlling of it. Whoops. Oh, I think we need, I can't ever remember. I think we need equals new. Man, why can I never remember this shit? I use lists constantly. I'm gonna have to look at my other constantly. All right, I'm gonna have to look at my other thing here. It is. Do we want it that way, or do we just want to break this free? I'm trying to like, because we're gonna only have one player, but we're gonna have like a bazillion of the things that the player summons. It probably, yes, that's all that. I was like, wait, it just needs to have a. I'm trying to think if this is like, it's better to have this just attached to the game object or just have it floating free as a public class. Like these type of, oh shit, I went past the hour mark for my break. That means I get to take a break. So I would have always, before I would have always made this a list. I would have made this public class a list. The list would hold the game object with it, and all this other, in here, this would have all like the game object and all this other information. But from what I was reading more recently, not reading, learning more recently, uh, it doesn't seem like that's all. A lot of times they'll just stick a whatchamacallit to it. Um, make it a mono behavior and stick it to the game object. Then you just access it through by getting the component of it whenever you need it. But then I can't get the component of it from the enemy because it doesn't know where it is unless I have a list of game object, which is this player list. So the player list, I think we need to initialize it too. Where's my world map load on this guy? Or is the initialization? This is the initialization. So that will work fine for that. So let's see if we have an awake. We don't need it in awake. We just need when this is spawned, we can just have a controller. Yep, just like that. See how much time that saves? It's crazy. I know IntelliCode does, or whatever it's called, does the same thing. What's your problem now? Okay, so then on this one, on enable, we would just do controller instance dot player list 0. Yeah, like that. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break though, and I'll be back in less than. I've moved on to Lords of the New Church, music wise. I will be back in less than 5 minutes. All right, I'm back with a burp. I think I mentioned this before, but I don't know why I always say that if I mentioned something before or not. I feel like, if I need everyone to know if I'm that I know that I'm repeating myself. It probably doesn't really matter. Anyways, um, I went to watch a tutorial for a video game, and the guy started out with a burp. I don't think he knew he burped. So his video starts out in with a burp and then a big long pause. Then he introduces himself. Anyways, so we're gonna spawn the token. We're spawning the token at 8-8 to start with. That's just what we're doing. I don't know why. We can just put this vector in here instead of, but it's fine. That's fine. Then we're gonna add the player token to the player list. We got the component, and we put the current location there. So let's hit play and see what happens here. That's from before, because I'm just jumping all over the place and having a conversation. Let's spawn our enemy guy. Let's move him. Perfect. He moves exactly where we want. Everything's fine. All right, so we... Oh, I didn't save this, though. um, We're going to get rid of these messages. I cannot stand. So that's the other thing, is that when like a lot of tutorials, I'll find them, they're only like 6 months old. They'll have their whole project files, and I'll load up the project files, and they'll be just filled with warnings and shit. And I find that to be like, why would you put out in the world warnings? Did he go a different way this time? Uh, why would you like let warnings and messages be in code that you're putting out? Like, why releasing to the public? And it's almost every time like it's just jam packed, like 60 of them, and it's like, just go through and fix them. Like, why? We're gonna put these off for right now because like I just imported a bunch of my old code, and so it's all fucked up, and we're gonna go through and get rid of that shit as we go. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna get rid of that. What is this? I don't know why I have this anymore, so we can get rid of that. This is nice and clean now. Spawn player token is looking good. So we spawn it. Now we want to be able to move it, which is under player control, which is kind of a dumb name now that let's call it player movement. Player movement. And then we'll do a different script for the other thing. We don't need that because that's from my other program that I stream other days. Where'd you go? Player control. Get out of here. Go back to here. We're going to rename this thing. And then that should be good. Then we have the player controls that are being assigned. I'm just leaving this up here for now. I'm just leaving this here for now. But on start, we are going to have this move player token by the keys that you're putting in, but it's going to actually be a vector 2. And this will actually work if we put in a vector 2. Oh, it's not going to work. We're going to need a different one of these depending on which key they press. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to call this... Wait. Oh, I renamed it to token. Okay, so that's fine. We're just going to say, we're going to go through and change all these. Actually... we are going to change all these to the different The reason why we can't do it this way anymore, where I was feeding in the different directions from up here, is because we needed to say if they're in this, if they're in, we needed this to happen. If they're in an odd thing, they need to move a different place. So we'll just have like 6 of these. I think I can't think of another way to do it. There might be a better. If you know a better way, just tell me. Um, this will be north. And east. And we could also get rid of this word movement. We don't need it that long, right? You know I love the long names for everything, but that's even that is pretty long. And so this is each key will do this different thing. We're gonna have like a ton of duplicate code then. I wonder if we could what did I just do? I meant for it to generate. Whoa, what did I just do? No, I wanted it to generate its own. We could. I'm thinking here. I think we might be able to make these like odd directions. How are we going to do? We'll figure this out here. But what I wanted this to do was generate a new. Are you not going to do it for me? I wonder if it's because there's so many errors. Generally, I can get this thing to just generate a new function for us here. I think these don't have this at the end. Oh, I guess they do. I was thinking they didn't have these at the end on whatchamacallums events. Is that how my other one was? I really struggled when I made this movement thing a long time ago. I don't know why. I never had so many issues until recently. I was like following a tutorial and I was just struggling with it. Let's put these in the correct order though. Once again, that's another thing that I'm like obsessed with. Where's player movement northwest? Hey, what are you doing down here? Okay, so we can do this. Whoops. We're gonna do one. We're gonna do one first. How are we gonna do this? So if you're going northwest, that's gonna be upper left. Kitty's meowing at me. And this is even. We could. Oh, I'm thinking. I think. Can we? Can we put a function in here, or whatever the fuck these are called? Um. What is it? Control enter? No. Shift enter? No. Control click? No. Shift click? Uh, so I'm trying to think. So we needed to have an if statement, and then that's why I'm having 6 different ones, but we might be able to do it with one. Fuck it. Let's just do it the way I know how to do it. We're going to need... sort of these things. Actually, let's just copy this over. It'll be easier to edit. This is for even. Oh, come on, kitty. Come on, kitty. Give me a break. Actually, this doesn't seem any faster. We'll just edit these ones. See, before I was putting these in, but we don't know if they're even or odd. So I only had to have one thing. These... we have to have this in the right order here, too. Actually, I'm just going to put this on another screen so I can see it. Except I have something else there. It's close enough. West movement is 1. Northwest would be... Northwest is -1, -1. Southwest, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier if I do this in the same order. Lower left, okay, left is west. Lower left is southwest. And this is -1, 1. Right, which would be east. Wonder why we went right. Oh, because this keeps throwing on my other screen. One of them's off, and so when I look at it and I think, oh, the second one down. I guess I should have done this a different way. I'm gonna need 12 of these things. I feel like that's a shitty way to do this, but all right, go back to the top. Left is -1, 0. Lower left is -1, 1. Lower right is southeast. And let's make sure that I'm doing this. Oh, it's not going to let me hit, maybe it will. I just need to see the grid real quick to make sure that I haven't changed anything since the last. So this is northwest, this is west, this is southwest, this is southeast, this is east, this is northeast. Okay, that is the same. So we're starting at west. We're going southwest. Southeast is going to be 0, 1. And then east, we lost in here somewhere. We can actually change this to west, even. Even. East even is 1, 0. And then northwest even. We actually need this one first, though. Northeast even. Upper right is 0. -1. And then the last one is northwest even is -1, -1. All right, we just need to rename this thing. Then we're going to copy all of these and do another one, but this is going to be odd. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to reduce the amount of code I use, and then I look at somebody else's code, and it's so much code, and it's not like I'm worried about nothing. This is under create grid. We need to find the other thing. This one. And paste that there, then go back to player movements. This is 0, -1. This is -1, 0. This is 0, 1. This one, east, is lower right. Oh, man, now we're in the... What happened? West is... Oh, this one's in a different order? What? What happened here? How is this not all fucked up? Oh, I think what's happening, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is these are wrong. Huh. How the fuck were we doing this before? Now I suddenly can't remember how this works. I'm pretty sure that that works right. I guess I think these names are wrong. I think the comments are wrong. Oh, you know why? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the comments are right or wrong in this one because it just goes through them all. It just goes through it just goes through all of them, so it doesn't matter like if they're right or wrong. But this is going to be a problem for me right now. Let's go back to here. We're going to immediately find out the issue here. Upper, it says that this is 0. And then left should be -1. We're gonna definitely see this once we get the fuck out of my face. Oh wait, I just changed the wrong one. No, I didn't. -1, 0. Southwest would be lower left is 0, 1 according to my notes here, but I think there's something wrong. We're gonna find out when we do this here. Southeast would be lower right, should be 1, 1 according to this. East should be right, which is 1, 0. That one's right. Northeast, which would be upper right, should be 1, 1. You know, I can look at this. There's a website that has this shit. But let's put this in. I probably should. Do I still have that website open? I think it's like red something. Red Blob Games. Here we go. It's this right here. Let's double check. I think what I just did was fuck myself is what I did. And I have chat covered up. So even upper left, so let's put this in the same order as this thing. -1, -1. West even is -1, 0. -1, 1 for southwest. Southeast is 0, 1. East is 1, 0. Northeast even is 0, -1. Odd is west should be -1, 0. Southwest should be, well, let's start in the same spot, man. Negative or northwest should be 0, -1. West should be -1, 0. Southwest should be 0, 1. Southeast odd should be 1, 1. East should be 1, 0. There we go. So these are right. Nah, well, hopefully they're right. And get rid of this. Then when we hit this, like this first one to the northwest, we would say if y is divided by, okay, y being, this is going to be an int, y equaling, that's actually what we want. Where is this player info? This player movement, no, this is wrong. This is going to be a controller instance player list get component. Excuse me. Player list is a list. What happened to my music? Everything suddenly is sounding funny. Player list is a list of game objects. I hope I didn't accidentally change something there. Controller, where did you go? Player list is a list of game objects. And on that game object, oh, did we, no, it's just player list. Why don't you like this thing? Oh, I know why. There we go. So if y is divided by 2 equals 0, so if there's no remainder, we're in an even number, and we're trying to go northwest. So northwest even is what we're adding our. So we're gonna need another. Should we add it to player info, their destination? I guess we could. Current position, public vector to int. And we'll do it as a, actually we should say this current hex, because this is not their position, it's their hex. And then, so that from here, this will be Whoops. All that, and then I accidentally double click. It's like a thing I do. Good God, what the fuck did I just hit? What would did I like drag it down or something? Because I'm Control Zing and it's not the fuck did I do? Look at that mess. What the fuck? Okay, what is this shit? This is part of it. I don't know what the fuck just happened there. I must have like dragged it a little bit. Even I should have been able to undo it. Anyways. Get component. And let's do this. No, that's not what we wanted. We wanted, good God, I keep hitting stuff and it's just exploding things all over here. This is right, but let's make this. Let's do this just to make life easier because we're going to be using this a bunch. Okay. I don't know what the fuck I did here. Like it was just, it was literally just on screen. I don't even know what I did. All right. So if this is even, we're going to say player info dot current hex no destination hex is going to equal, yep, else this shit out of here. This is gonna be odd. Translate? That's weird. Translate direction. I wonder what I was doing there. All right, it doesn't matter. Get this shit out of here. Okay. All right, so we're gonna test this first with just northwest, but we gotta look at here. Move player northwest. So we push the button, which is 7. 7 is the key that I have marked for northwest. 7 on the keypad. We have we're gonna add our current hex. So then we have the destination hex, and then we need to move towards that destination, which maybe we should just put it, we should have another thing down here. Move towards somewhere. We'll just put it right here. This says move player northwest. It's more like a key is pressed to do that, but whatever. Then we'll have an actual move. We'll private void actual move, and we'll probably rename that in a second here. Then we'll go back to, where's our goblin guy? Our move token thing. We'll go down here. We'll grab out this stuff. We don't need a path. We'll stick this in here. And step is fine. Target, though, is not fine. Target is going to be player info. Um, So what is this? On start. I guess we can just have that. I was trying to think of a way to not have this in here twice. Um, we'll put the speed up here. And we want it to be 500 as well. Um, and this is going to be player info. Destination hex. Look at all this crap. And then after that, we put actual move right here. So after we've set the new destination by taking their current hex and adding it to their northwest even move, which is this, it should move it northwest. I feel very unlikely that this is going to work. I mean, I'm already at 3 hours. I usually don't program. So besides when I stream, I don't program actually for that long. It moved the wrong direction. I hit 7 and it moved down there. It should have went northwest, which is up. It is in, where does its current location? 8-8. That's an even one. So it should have went, let's look at this again. Northwest even. So it should have went to 7-7. I think that's actually where it went. That is where it went. Wonder why it only works once. Oh, you know, I didn't put this in update. Surprised it worked at all. If it wasn't an odd one, it would have went to 0, -1. Which would have been 8-7. So let's look at the grid 8-7. Now that's the wrong one as well. We want it to go to the northwest. Which is -1, -1. Destination hex. I'm betting that its starting location is off. Or it's trying. I don't have it in an update, so it's weird. The player info location. But that's right, actually. I mean, that's the math's right. If it's starting at 8-8, 7-7 is that? -1, -1. What the fuck am I missing? I'm missing something idiotic. And this is working with the pathfinding, because I copied this over from the pathfinding. Yeah, that's not right. I'm looking at the wrong grid. Oh, right. I had to like select a different one of these or something. No, it was just this. Why would this matter? Why would this be different than my other pathfinding thing? Maybe they are all different. I have a different. How would that even be possible, though? I didn't do this math. I went to that website and the fuck am I doing here? And I'm finding its neighbors. The neighbor order doesn't matter, but maybe that's it. Is that this is the wrong? This is definitely wrong. That's not upper left. See, this is in a different order. Is this even? Yeah, this is the even ones. These are wrong. I probably updated this and didn't update. Yeah. But since it doesn't really matter the order in this one because it's just going through and finding all of the neighbors, it's fine. But okay, but wonder why my shit's like I know his website's right. Like it's used all over the place. Um, okay, let's go back to this. So if we can just do it ourselves. Okay, so we want if he's gonna move from upper left to here, he's gonna move to 7-9. So it's -1-1. So we can change northwest should be -1-1. He's starting on an even one. Okay, so now let's hit play again. Well, stop and play again. And I was gonna call it a day at 3 hours, but I want to fix this. I want this to work. I wasn't even gonna work on this part at all, but we'll get it. We'll get it going here. I was gonna select that. I don't know. Okay. Once again, I don't know how this thing's fucking moving with well, let's fix that too. Fixed update here. Start. Um Private Bool. Why did you make it a capital? How dare you? How dare you? Oh, it's because I made it a capital. I didn't think I did. And then here we'll just say my music just stopped. um so that's only going to work one time, but that's fine. We only want it to work one time right now. I mean, we'll do the same thing we did on the other one, the if thing. But let's fix this. So this is player move northwest. It's not fixed. I mean, that one's fixed. I think. Let's see if this thing still moves. Yeah, it does. I guess we should fix this. The problem, this is going to be such duplicate shit. Is there a better way to do it? So, because I'm going to have this whole thing on every everything. So if we put a variable in here like that said like, northwest, we can just copy this thing over here real quick though. Guess this is what we need here. So we don't need actually we do need target. If the transform position equals target, then actual move is equal to true. Or no, it's equal to false. And then we should be able to do it again, except that we're going to be off the map. I don't know what happens if we run off the map. I also feel like the other part isn't working. I got 11 of those. I clicked the button a bunch of times. Yeah, so it's trying to go off the map. It just can't. We should probably do something about that. But so let me think about this. There's got to be a better way to do this. So the key is fired. We say it's northwest. So we could have one big thing that says if this is northwest, do this one. If this is that, do that one. It doesn't actually seem to. So let's do the one that's directly west. Player move west. So this is the issue. This is what I'm talking about here. If we do player move west, it's basically going to be the same thing. It doesn't know. Like I said, we could put a variable in here, and then it would know which variable. We could have like a switch. Aren't switches really slow? Because otherwise we're going to have the same shit in here a bunch of times, except we're going to have, west even go be added in. Like, doesn't this seem like a dumb way to do this? Somebody tell me if there's a better way to do this. There has to be a better fucking way to do this. Okay. Let's go back to here. We're only working on the even part as well. Let's hit play, and let's see where it's supposed to be. It's going to be like -1, 0 or something. 70, yeah, -1, 0. So this one on even, so that one's right. Except it doesn't work. Except the button doesn't work. Oh, I didn't have it selected. I think I could click on this. It still only works once. I used to have a turn thing in here. I wonder if that's killing us. Is like there's a... Yeah, I commented it out. I just like my shit in order, so I was moving that there. That kicks off the actual move. Actual move, if this equals targets, turns this to false. Is actual move a... I can't spell anything, so I just make this thing do it. Look how long that took. So let's see. This thing is going to be on here, I think. Wait, where did I put this? Player movement is right here. Wonder why it only works once. Oh. I pushed that diagonal and it went... Oh, weird. Oh, because we're on a... But this one shouldn't have mattered. We're not an even... Alright, well that doesn't matter right now. Wonder why it only works once. I can push him back and... I can push him once. The other thing... I'm missing something stupid here. Again. Where's the target? Target, if the target equals their position, well, that's not going to work. Wait, is the target... No, the target is... I don't know. I'm going to call it a day. So anyways, this is this other game that I'm working on. I got a lot of... I can't program for more than 3 hours. I get burned out. And I like to think about stuff. And I wasn't even planning to do this part. I do want to fix this. But I also... I don't understand why it's only moving once. Oh, you know why? It's because the current hex has never changed. No, this is going to equal target. Oh, not the target. No, because the target is a whatchamacallit. I guess it is going to equal the destination. But then we need to null out the destination. Actually, does it even matter? I don't think it matters. It's going to go to the wrong place because we don't have the odds set up. Okay, it's not going to go to the wrong. Hey, that one will. Bye. How the fuck is it doing that? It's off that. Whatever. All right, let's fix this here. So if we go northwest, well, let's go through all these again, and then I'll call it a day. Like, it's 3 hours is a lot for me. I still don't understand how people do this shit for 8 hours a day. They must take like 45 coffee breaks, 150 coffee breaks. Maybe I should go take a coffee break real quick. And when I say a coffee break, I mean a smoke break. Because this might take a minute to fix for the evens. Didn't I just take a break? I don't know. I'm my own boss. All right, I'll be right back. That was my It's 5 o'clock alarm. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I also grabbed some ice cream, some chocolate chip ice cream here. Out of the fridge, so I'm gonna I gotta do it before it melts, you know. So here we go. Let's turn off my break timer, and let's do this really fast. And when I say really fast, somewhat fast. So what I'm gonna be doing, I'll move this over to this other screen, so I can see this. So west, we're in the even spot. We already know that one is -1 plus 1. We know this one is negative. -1, 0. This one should be -1, -1. And the next one, which is southeast, should be 0, -1. And then directly east should be 1, 0, which was what we had. And then directly up is 8, 9. Should be 0, 1. Whoops. Okay, so we have that this has been updated supposedly with the correct even only. I guess we should do the odd ones too. So So for odd, let's do it down here. This is 3-3, I believe, or 1-1. That's odd. Okay, so to the northwest of 1-1, we're gonna do 0-1. To the north, to the directly west of this is gonna be -1-0, because we were at 1-1 before. This one is going to be, let me click on you, 1-0. It's going to be, southwest is going to be -1, and then southeast is going to be, really? Yeah, -1, no, 1, -1. Okay, I was making sure they were different. And then we're going to go here. For some reason, it has a real issue clicking on that. And it's going to be +1. So that one was right. And then we're going to go to here. That's going to be 1-1. Okay, that one was right as well. Okay, so not save you. Then we're going to save this. And then we're going to go to this even or odd shit again. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Oh, no, I guess we did. I didn't think we put this. I thought we forgot. And we can comment this stuff out. We don't need this going into everyone. We'll just get rid of this. We'll comment out of that one, but we'll get rid of this one. And that way we can copy and paste later if we need to. Because we're going to have to copy a bunch of these real quick. And we're going to do southwest. And then this is going to be southwest. And then this is going to be southwest. Then we're going to copy this. I mean, I guess I still have it on my clipboard. I could have just... then we're going to be southeast. And then this is going to be southeast. And this is going to be southeast. And then we're just going to paste this next one. And this is going to be just directly east. And this is going to be directly east. This is going to be east. And then what are we at? Northeast. My ice cream is melting. I'm like an ice cream addict. And then, of course, if we did all of our calculations correct, what is your problem? Oh, we had these here. That's okay. We can get rid of those. Those are fine. Those are gone. Okay, and a bunch of these things have changed, which is great. And then once it will let us here. Now I should be able to move it around with the 10 key. Of course, 8 doesn't do anything. I was like, 8 isn't working. Okay, and we're going the correct direction. Now let's test something else here. Let's go back up. So that worked. Let's go back up and spawn this enemy and see if he'll get to us. Or if he's going to go to the other spot. He's going to get to us. Let's move him. Let's move around somewhere. There's no down. There's no down and up with hexes. Let's hit move again. I don't think, yeah. So he's going to remember. Yeah, now he's all fucked up. He's like, the thing moved. So basically what that's telling us is we need to recalculate the path. So when I clicked the move button, what was it? Doing? Spawn enemy has the move button. and it turns that on. It goes down here. It should be finding the path, actually. Except the start and the goal have been grabbed from somewhere else where we were getting those. Oh, yeah. So it was getting this. When it spawned, but the issue with this thing though, if we put it here, it's going to run this multiple times. Remember, we did that and it got all fucked up. Let's see what happens here. We can put like a bool that like says, hey, do this first, I guess. If it's the other player's turn. It won't let me, see, here's like a bug that I wasn't getting before. Maybe it could be this, but I bet you it's because I updated. We can leave something on here. Oh, we can't do it. We don't have we can't spawn that guy. No, he should have. It doesn't matter that much. I'm just going to call it a day here in any second here. And then take a nap. Oh, suddenly we're getting all sorts of perimeter Unity self. So every time I've gotten that before, it's because I need to restart Unity. Now that I think about it. Whoops, wrong one. Well, you know what? Let's just call it a day. Let's call it a day on this stream. We got much more than I wanted or expected to get done. And like I said, I'm not going to stream this one all the time. I'm keeping that for the 2D 4X game. We're going to do that one all the time, probably tomorrow, because I want to keep working on that and continue, which is what I just accidentally opened. Where were we? This game is a completely different thing. Yeah, so this one we're doing, this is a 4X game, so we're going to do this. Right now we only have 7 counties, but yeah, we're going to work on this probably tomorrow. I don't know. But that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me. I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good existence.